You got to block these dudes. Exes, ghoster, breadcrumber, all of them. You got to block them all. Okay, I'm going to make a case for blocking. And I say this as somebody who did not block Breadcrumb Guy. I've talked about him before and I wrote about him for Shondaland, but this is not the whole story. I had a word count. I actually received a text from him. The text I'd been waiting for, hoping that he would want to see me again, even though I knew I shouldn't date him. I should never see him again, that he should absolutely stay in my rearview mirror or actually throw the mirror away. You know what I mean? I knew that it was a bad idea to ever be involved with this man again, but I did not block him. And then I did get that text that so many of us want, where they try to come back into your life, even though, and especially if you don't want them. I thought it would be very satisfying. No, it was a slightly satisfying. Let me know if y'all want to know that whole story and show you the receipts, because it's pretty funny. But I want to hit right now why it's so important to block these guys. Not only will they come back around when they are bored, lonely, feeling dead inside, need money, need a place to stay, are in their marriage and just don't like their wife, even though she literally does everything for him. But are just like, how can I get a little shot of validation? I'll text every girl from high school. You know what I mean? When they reach back out, it is never good. It is never because they're thinking about you. It's never because they actually miss you. And they don't even miss your sweet, sweet. No, they need something. They need something. And it's usually not even drugs. It's emotional labor, validation, attention. Mommy, 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 pay attention to me. Because they cannot stand indifferent. They cannot stand being irrelevant, obsolete, forgotten. They need so badly to believe that their magic, a disco stick, changed your life forever. You are a changed woman because they were inside you. No. The only thing they changed you is they traumatized you, oftentimes. Disappointed you, made you feel invisible, made you feel lonelier than you've ever felt by yourself. And so that indifference radar goes off. The minute they sense intuitively like a predator, that ex doesn't think about me anymore. Bing, tack, boo! She hasn't thought about me. I haven't heard from her. I think I'm going to interrupt her peace, right? So you have to block these guys for all those reasons. It's almost never a good reason why they reach out to you. It's almost always because they need something from you, because under patriarchy, these cishet men need us the way a parasite needs a host, okay? But let me tell you the even more important reason why you need to block them. Other than stopping the enabling cycle of even returning that text and giving them any attention at all, which therefore encourages them to keep doing this crap. But it's because your self-esteem can't handle it. Your self-esteem takes a hit every single time you respond to that dude when you know you shouldn't. And every time you look at your phone waiting to see if he's texted you. Every time you look at your phone looking for your own validation, right? It's not just men who need validation. Now, men win more and cause more damage with their need for validation because they have violence and power and money and a whole system on their side as tools for their domination, which is all they seem to be able to know how to do unless they're unpacking patriarchy, and all their trauma is dominate, oppress, own, suck the life out of, exploit, right? Not all men, hashtag not all men, okay? Love my husband, love a lot of my guy friends, but they're working their butt off to undo this stuff within themselves and heal their trauma. But the fact that you leave that door open, that you even give them an opportunity to reach you just so that you can ignore them, that actually hurts your self-worth. Because first of all, they may not ever send that text, and you don't know if you'll be in a good position when they do, if they do, to ignore them, to not take the bait. Because if you have some unresolved trauma looking for a third, fourth, fifth, sixth act, it's going to be like, hey, there you go. If you're in a low moment, maybe you lost your job, maybe you're losing your housing, like your apartment, and now you're really stressed. Maybe you just lost your best friend because she got married and centers men, and now you have nobody, which is why you really shouldn't be hanging out with women who center men if you're planning on not centering men. And so you can't trust that you will not return that text. You can't trust that. as much as you think it'll feel good, you cannot assume that you will have the power in that moment to not go for that dopamine hit, that possibility of healing some childhood trauma and the fact that your dad didn't like you, because that's actually not going to heal that. It's not. It feels so good, but it's not going to heal. And I can't tell you how empowering it is to cut them off. Move access to you. It is so empowering because you are betting on you. You are proactively setting yourself up for success rather than leaving yourself vulnerable to being reactive. And sometimes reactive could be you ignore them. Chances are, though, if they send that text, you're going to be like, oh, hey, and then you're like, oh, crap. Next thing you know, you're in a back and forth, and then they're like doing the same thing, and then you hate yourself. I know, and I'm going to tell more of this story, especially if y'all want it, what it's like to deal with chronic codependency. The same way some people are chronically addicted to alcohol. It doesn't matter how many treatment centers they go to. It doesn't matter how many, like what they do. They are physically addicted to alcohol, and they're mentally obsessed with it. And they have to have something very extreme to stop them from drinking, where other people are just have to like deal with their trauma and like, get some support and then they're fine, right? There's different levels of alcoholism. Same thing with codependency. I want to show you what I did in my attempt to not engage with breadcrumb guy. Now, this actually worked with other men because I wasn't really hooked on other men, but certain men, man, especially the breadcrumbers, they have a power over you, especially if your dad ignored you. Like it makes perfect sense. Like, oh, this seemed familiar. I'll keep doing this. So breadcrumb guy, I named him at a certain point, honey, he doesn't like you. So that every time, usually my phone's on silent, but every time this message came up, it's like, honey, he doesn't like you, in case you forgot who this man really is. Other times when the phone was on, it would literally be a voice being like, honey, he doesn't like you is calling. Honey, he doesn't like you is calling. At one point in time, I renamed him, You're Not Dating. Because we weren't. Like, we were not, but I wanted to so bad, even though I really didn't, y'all. I did not. Again, I'll tell you more about this story in part 2 if you want. At one point in time, I named him Fork Boy. Don't do it in all caps. I thought this right next to my mom's message. Another time I wrote, this was when I was back in my delusion. Okay, maybe he likes you. And then, cut this Fork Boy off. When we finally broke up, I renamed him No, 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 No. So again, this didn't really work with him clearly because my intuition, which is what I was trying to like bat signal to with the naming, would take over and be like, no, he really does like you. Okay. But actually most of the time when I wasn't like addicted to somebody, it worked. So I actually want to use this as an opportunity to let y'all know because I would love your suggestions. People keep asking me to make a ringtone where I'm like, honey, he doesn't like you, or it's the king baby, or like, girl, don't pick up the phone. Don't pick it up. Don't call him. Or like he doesn't eat your, don't pick it up. You know what I mean? Whatever. Let me know if y'all want that. Like, I don't know if I should even bother, but it sounds like some people might want that. And it'd be a way of supporting me in my work and a fun way to just whatever. I don't know. It sounds fun. Let me know what you want and I'll do the most popular one. Because again, this doesn't work on everybody. If you are chronically codependent and have not learned how to manage that and deal with that, or you are just too addicted to this one man, it's probably not going to be enough. But I don't know. It might help. Because you know what I did do is that as soon as I met my husband, not as soon as, but after a few days, I knew. And I think our second date, we watched a Brene Brown special, like whatever that thing is on one of them on Netflix. And she does this whole thing about like it being in the arena and how it takes courage, put yourself out there, blah, 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 right? We all know Brene, right? Not a fan of the fact it was Teddy Roosevelt because he sucks. But anyway, I named Anthony Live in the Arena Girl so that I wouldn't mess this up. And it actually really helped. By the way, this is an example of the kind of text that my husband was sending. Still sends stuff like that. Love you so much. You're my everyday Christmas present. Or like this one, can't wait to hear you, love. And then he has like the little tornado rainbow because that's his like nickname for me. Because I'm a mess and chaotic and full of energy and destroy things, but beautiful and leave color in my path. If I hadn't cut breadcrumb guy off, I definitely never would have met Anthony. Hell, I probably would still be waiting for a text, like this would have dragged on because like I said, he texted me a year and a half later. God, I got to tell that story. Let me know if you want to hear. Block access to these parasites. Love yourself more.